Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Nelson, you're watching Nature Nell, and if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by because you are part of something special. I'm going to be turning this into a Vanda chandelier. Now these beautiful cones, you guys have asked me before, where do I purchase them? I've gotten these at Bang Yong Orchids in Miami, Florida. He doesn't deliver them, but if you're locally here or if you're visiting Miami, that would be the place to get these beautiful cones. They're pretty heavy, sturdy. They come in these 4 wire hangers or wire, yeah. Let me show you. It's in this kind of sturdy wire hanger. And today we're going to be adding some beautiful cattleyas to this. Now the cattleyas I want to add are motes, only motes cattleyas. Why do I keep saying cattleya? Vanda. I'm in cattleya mode. These are small. They do get a little bit, they do get bigger than this, but I want to start them off here. I just want to start an experiment to see how they would look all growing in the cone. I've done it with the cattleya. That's why I keep saying cattleya. I've done it with the Annie Bell cattleya, and it's been a beautiful, spectacular show of orchids. I've done it with my Rincon stylus. Another one, if you haven't seen that short, it's probably one of the most viewed shorts that I have, and it's a whole chandelier of this vase with different colored Rincon stylus. So I want to do them, like I call them mini Vandas because they grow out and so do the roots. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, I think, or maybe not, because the roots will go around it. See, that's why I thought maybe it won't be such a challenge like I thought it would be. But I want to do this this Vanda, and I have in mind doing a Ludminiana one. But see, it's already looking gorgeous, and I'm just placing it on there. So it's all about just kind of putting them there and see, okay, how is this going to look? Now you have to remember how they're going to grow. So if you're putting them down here, obviously you're going to have a lot of room. I could just put them down here and let them grow upwards, which would be a smart thing to do. But I do have 5. I have this thing about odd numbers, 3, 5s, and 7 when it comes to doing plants. And with these Vandas, 3 would have been too little, 7 would have been too much. So 5 I think would be perfect. So I think I'm going to put maybe 3 on the bottom and 2 on the top. Let's see, let's start working. Now I will fast motion the film because it's going to take way too long of a video. I think they're going to start cutting the grass next door. The timing of it all. Anyways, just before I do that, I want to show you that the roots have been pre-soaked in water. I did water them, and the reason I do that is so they're pliable and they don't break. So if I want to bend it around, I could bend it with no problem. It will not crack my orchid, and then I could easily start placing the tie wraps in there. Right, the hardest part, believe it or not, is positioning. It's where you want to put them. I think everything else is much easier, even though tying them up is not as easy on these because the holes are tiny. So let me put on my eyes and stop chatting so much, and I'll teach you as I go. I'll stop the videotape if I have to explain an important point if I need to. But for now, let's put it on fast motion. Make sure you cut long enough, even if you have extra, it doesn't matter. You don't want to be short because it's so disappointing when you cut them just to the point where it's almost reaching, but it doesn't get there. So whatever you do, just give yourself enough string. Even if it looks like too much, you can rewrap and use it again. Now, normally what I do is I try to position it and see exactly where I want it. This one is one of the bigger ones, or should I say more rooty one. So I'm going to put it on the low end because I have a feeling it's going to give a lot of roots. So that way I rather, do it there than to be on top of the other orchid. So this is my space. Now, filming it is very different than when I'm doing it by myself because I normally I'll have it hanging like this for a while, but most of the time I'll lay it flat and then I'll push the things through the center. It's much faster. So let's see how much longer. It's not so bad. All right, so you want to give yourself an anchor like this, right? Now, I'm going to cut another one because it has a nice stalk, and I'm going to put it right here. So I could already have it. I don't have to wait to cut another piece, grab, and then it's dangling. So right now, see, it's like a little man, hands and feet. Now, okay, so I'm gonna get the top first to give me a nice hanger. So that way I can work on the bottom, because the bottom is the most challenging one. It has all the roots. So you want to make sure that when you're placing your Vanda there, don't start at the bottom. You're going to be fighting it for quite a while, because you have to separate all these roots. All right, this one's not so bad. Thought it was going to be a little tougher. Now make sure you don't pull too quick, because I've done that, and then then it gets really, really annoying, because now you have to pull it out, and you're gonna have to restart all over again. So there, you don't want to over squeeze it. You know what, I should have put this down here so you don't see it. I don't know why I did that. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. It's firm in there. You don't want it moving too much. After everything is done, you're gonna go back, and if you want to put like the roots in parts of these little slits, it's fine, because you want to get it when it's wet. So you can start anchoring it and kind of teaching it to go onto the vase or into the vase. Make sure you don't hurt the roots. You don't want to get any bacteria in there or any. Now, do you see why I said to pre-soak it? Because if it's dry, you would have already cracked that several times. And if you don't find an area easy for it to go in, don't force it. It's not worth it. There, that's good enough for me, because this one wasn't going all the way in, and I could see I could break that little piece there. So I'm going to leave it just where it's at. It already has a root here, so it's going to stay here. Maybe, no, I don't want to do that either. Whew. All right, perfect. So there we go. So now it's really, really sturdy there. All right, if you want at that moment, if it has any spikes or anything, just clean it up, but you want to have a nice clean finish. So we have our first one. Now this is going to dictate how they all go on. Speed it up. So guys, it's basically like sewing. So when you go around here, you're just gonna see where your root fits comfortable, and then you're gonna, since you're already pre-soaked and it's pliable enough to turn it all the way around. I don't like to go over the stem of the other one, so I'm gonna go right under here. See, so it's right under the stem. And then we have one left here, actually two. And if you have two side by side, you could kind of like twist them together and then pull, see? You twist them together like this and then pull together, so it becomes just one long root. I'm telling you, this pre-soaking is the best thing. Not even, you don't hear like, you know, those little cracks when you're working on them. It's very important to do that because I used to not do that. And it's not fun for the plant. You know, it doesn't kill it, but you can open it to any bacterias. All right. You know what? They're all going to be living in the same. Normally, I would, I know they're all clean. They're not viral. I would blow torch this. You know what? I'll do it. It's good habit, even though they're all going on the same one. If they're all going on the same one, you want one of these. They're great. Now be very careful because just one little touch of this on your skin and it's gone. And in the daytime, you don't really see it. So you want to like burn everything before you. Now normally I let it cool down. I have several, but I'm only cutting, I'm not cutting stems or anything like that. I'm only cutting dried spikes. All right, on to our third. Sometimes you get lucky and just by wrapping the root, I mean, I still have to put the, you don't want your orchid to be loose ever. So see, this one was so good because the roots tend to grow out like a fan that I actually was able to wrap it into the vase already. It's already looking really cool. There you go. Just make sure it's fastened in there well. You don't want it to be moving around because an orchid that moves around too much is not a very happy orchid. If you have them in pots or mounted, they want to be fitted properly and not loosely because it just doesn't do well. Besides the roots, when they grow out, you want them to grab on. If they're not flat or firm onto the surface, it's going to take a while for it to grab on. So any orchid that you put on a surface or on a mount, it's important that the root area is tightly onto that surface so the next roots start adhering to it. My ghost orchid shot 2 new, which that's good news, 2 new roots, but it didn't adhere or it didn't attach to the mount, and it's because it wasn't properly, now it is. Now it's in a very firm, I guess the next roots that come out, because what it does is if it's loose, the root will look for something that would be tighter and it won't find it, so it grows out this way. And that's what happened to the ghost orchid. So you don't want the roots to be grown out, you want it to be growing on. Well, I thought it was 5, it's gonna be 6. But it doesn't have to be, let me see. This one's so cute. Look at that, it's like it was meant to be there. This one I would probably put against like that. What do you guys think? The more the merrier? Or less is more? I think the more the merrier. Yeah, let's do the more. I'm just thinking growth wise. This is a very small one, so it's not, I don't think it's going to take up a lot of space. I just want the tags to read well. This is a bright sprite with a bluebird. It's a beautiful flower. Now, if you're really, really OCD, you're going to color coordinate and all that stuff. For me, they're all different anyway. And once they start getting older and growing, they're all going to grow into each other anyway. So color coordinating, if you're doing one type of orchid, maybe on a tree, yes, that works great. But on a chandelier, it's going to all mix in. So that's the beauty of it, to have like a popcorn, a spray. Now, what I did do was keep them all in the same type of flower. They're all the small flower. They're not the bigger flower. So let me make sure. Yeah, this is like a Motes Banshee. And this is the bright blue sprite with bluebird, which is also a small one. So most of these, if not all, I think they're the small one. I believe they all are. All right, so let's get these puppies on. And guys, you can keep twisting. The front becomes like a key, so that way it gives you a nice firm attachment. It doesn't have to be necessarily, because this one, see, is not 100% on, but the roots fit in the slit so perfect. But you see they have these little side roots. You don't want to break those, you know, keep it as perfect as you can so it doesn't cause any type of shock to the root. So I think we have room for one more right here, right? It would be this puppy right here, which this one was one of those that lost a lot of yellow, but it bloomed so nicely. I've already gotten it to bloom once. Actually, I didn't get it to bloom, it came blooming. See, this is a dry spike, so you can use that to help you. Like, I don't want it too low, too high, because I have a feeling this is gonna shoot up. There's something, there we go. So that spike is actually holding it right now. So if you have a dry spike, you can use that. I don't want it to fall, because it is a good spot for it. So this is it. Looks gorgeous. All right, please don't fall. Beautiful. All right, guys, that is it. This was really easy because it has that dried spike back there that worked great as an anchor. So if you have spikes and you have a vase like this that you're putting it on and it has holes in it, use it to your advantage. Try to be as organic as possible with your mounting. Like, notice I use wires, but I didn't use as many as I could have used. I even took some out, because I gotta make sure it's not the tag now, because I use the roots as well as some of the spikes. Now when you see that the roots are going way too far into the next one, you may want to go the other way. It doesn't matter if it coils up here. It'll look nice when it starts growing within each other. It creates like a nice little ball. And then this one could go here. So what it does, it starts filling up that empty space. Come on, baby. There we go. And I like to go in the direction that the root is growing, because if you try to go the opposite, if you go too much, that's when you start cracking it. Like this one goes this way. Now I don't want to go over the top, but I could grow it into, because they're eventually going to grow between each other. And since they're Vandas, they can handle each other's company. It's when you start mixing different kinds of orchids, don't do that, because they'll start competing. All right, guys, that's it. That is my tutorial on how to hang it. Now I'm going to show you what to add to create a nice little environment, or should I say finish for detailing. If you get your hands on some Spanish moss, you're gonna wrap it behind. You don't want to overstuff it on the stem, because you don't want too much humidity there. It's mainly for your roots. Okay, so try to put it as low as possible to the root, see, to the base. And then you can stuff some in between some of the roots. It's just to create a nice little finish. You could even give them a haircut. That was from my home visit to Leah's. She uses a lot of this, and and she cuts them. Her OCD doesn't allow for it to not be even. So she says that she gives them moss haircut.
Keep going, going, go, 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 go,
All right, guys, I was gonna fill all the gaps, but I think it's gonna be too much. I'm actually thinking about taking some of it out because I think it's too much for the Vandas. Even though I do love Spanish moss, maybe I'm only gonna put it on the bottom and not on the top. I think that'll work better because it's too much. It's gonna be too much moisture too, and I don't wanna, you know, blast it with all this crazy moisture. I think the bottom is more than enough. If not, no Spanish moss. But I think we're gonna keep it like that. Just a couple here and there. It's so heavy. So here we go. What do you think? Should I keep the Spanish moss only on the bottom? I think so, right? Or no Spanish moss? Maybe no Spanish moss. Because some of them do work very well with the Spanish moss. I don't think this one does. So you guys tell me. Who knows? I'll probably go back to bare. All right, guys, that is it. Enough monkeying around with my orchids. I've been wanting to do this for the longest time. It's been one of those projects that I've had in the back burner to do. I hope you learned how to attach. The main thing here wasn't really so much about the Spanish moss design, even though I'm not crazy about it. It was more about the attachment. I was very happy, and I think I am gonna leave it without the Spanish moss because in there, the Spanish moss doesn't do well, and that's where it's gonna go. So if you guys like to use Spanish moss like Leah does, go right ahead and use it. It doesn't do anything bad to your, but I am a little more of a purist when it comes to hanging inside. And I think I'm going to take it off and just use, and that way I can see the growth of the roots, because like this you don't see the root growth. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it with the KLN root growth, and the temperature is pretty warm, so I'm going to see if it cools down tonight. I'll wait because it's not good to fertilize when it's cool. If I see that several days go and it's warm, I'm going to spray it with KLN Super Thrive, which is root growth. And that way it'll start attaching quickly, and I'll do that for 3 consecutive applications of 1 week apart. So for 1 week you're going to do 1 application, next week do another, and then for third week do another, and then stop. And that way it'll force those roots to start growing, and or should I say, it gives it enough nutrients and strength to grow those roots out, but it has to be a little bit warmer. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as I did. I really like the way that the Vandas played out in this whole section. I will see you next time. Anything that I'm forgetting, I don't want to forget anything. Well, the shows, I will put them at the end of this episode because I don't know when I'm going to put this video out. So whatever shows are coming up ahead, like definitely the Tamiami and the Fort Lauderdale. Oh, speaking of Fort Lauderdale, I'm going to be giving away 2 tickets and I believe a t-shirt. I will give you all the information on the next video when I really have everything down packed. We're going to do it, open it for the month of December. And it's the same way that we did it last time. We'll do a live with the Google roulette thing that goes around and picks a number. So the way we're going to do it is just like last time. You will put your name on, I need your full name, in my chat area and say I want to participate, but do it in a separate comment. Don't, because I mean, if I see a short comment, I'll know right away that it's for this, so I'll make that priority. So you can leave a secondary comment talking about the video, but if you want to participate, say I like to participate and put your full name, and that way I could have a number of each person, and as they come in I number them and I put them, so whatever Google picks. I haven't even opened the letter. So John, if you're watching, I haven't even opened your letter with the tickets inside. So I'll see if it's 2 tickets exactly. I think that's what he said, and a t-shirt. So stay tuned for that and for the up and coming shows. My next one will be a behind the scene of Motes, if it's not already out, but after you see this video, it should be right after that one, for their open house in December. And then I think I don't have anything until January. I think maybe there's something up ahead. Maybe there's something next weekend. Who knows? There's always a show. Anyways, guys, I will see you next time. I am Nelson. You're watching Nature Now and this beautiful chandelier of Vandas. And remember to always, always keep it green. See you next time. I'm full of cats. You guys just don't see it, but they're all giving me a my audience. They were here participating, watching the whole scene. This is Savannah, right, Savvy?